Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present the work of my chair, Yann Arthus Bertrand, and also to present what the aim of the foundation he has founded, the Good Planet Foundation, is, and that is to raise awareness on sustainable development issues, but also to do it in a very peculiar way, that is with focusing on the beauty of the world, because I think that beauty is a key, a very important key to everybody's mind, and also because we are trying to do that in a very specific way, that is, we are the optimistic ones in the environment movement. That is, we try to see the positive things rather than the negative ones, because we think that the planet doesn't need any other doomsayer or Cassandra, because if the world is doomed, there is nothing to do anymore. And we think there is plenty to do, and I will try to explain a little bit more of this. But here it's a special honor for me to speak, because you at ICOMOS, you have managed to make people from the culture and the sustainable development meet, and I think it's a very important thing. And I'm very happy to be there as the speaker of an artist who has committed his life to protecting the planet. I think it's perfect. And of course, today you know that the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, has published its last report, and it's very a good opportunity for me to talk about those issues. So let's start. Yes, here. Yeah. So this is this most famous picture of Yann Arthus Bertrand. It is Le Cœur de Veau. Veau is in the French Caledonia in the Pacific. Yann Arthus Bertrand here. And indeed, he started making photography in Kenya decades ago. When he went there with his wife, he's still married with her, on a scientific study on lions and ethology. And he was using big lenses, you know, as of course it's not always very secure to be close from a lion. And this has changed all the way he has been working for two reasons, and I think he invented two different ways of taking pictures. First one, well, it's one of his oldest pictures. He says, Kenya, this place is so beautiful, it's too easy to take pictures there and to be a good photographer. You have to try in other places. But Kenya is such a wonderful place, it's too easy. As being a scientist is not giving much more money, he was doing balloon travels for tourists. And then he discovered Kenya from above. And what it does is this. And this is also one of his first pictures, but it explains something about how he proceeds. Usually when you are taking a landscape picture, you have an horizontal picture, like the former one, or the former one. And he decided to rotate his picture camera 90 degrees, just vertically, there. And then it makes a lot of difference. And you see the lines of nature, lines, colors, and I will show you. But this 90 degrees rotation is the heart of his work. And there's, as I told you, he used zooms, the big lenses, to picture lines. And he used also those big lenses to picture the landscape, which is something no one has done before. And it's changed a lot. So I'll show you this picture. Well, it's not in Kenya anymore. It's in Kyrgyzstan. But it's kind of the same lines, not the same colors, of course. And the point is, this picture, it's kind of the real size of it. It is 100 meters high, but he has a big zoom. So this is very small indeed compared with the former pictures. And with these pictures, you cannot always imagine the scale before just getting into the pictures. And this is important just to show the magnificent lines and colors of nature as no one has did it before. So Kyrgyzstan, oh yeah, this one is a very funny one. This is Kenya again. And again, I think it's even larger than the real size. But it's taken from the air. And it's salt in a lake. Salt with many different colors. And yeah, this is the essence of Yann's pictures. And when you compare the former one with this one, you might have an idea of the real size, because if you see the small white dots here, you see it. If you do not see them, you should just move to the front. Here, it's flying birds. So you have an idea of the scale at that time. And the scale is like, Yann is like maybe a former painter. He likes to play with his audience, and he gives hints of what he does, and sometimes he likes to just give some idea of the scale. So this picture, it's white sand in Australia. It gives you an idea of the scale of this small boat here. Once again, it's a game with you. And if you don't have this boat, you cannot have any idea of the scale, because there is kind of fractal geography on Earth. So you can see these pictures on 1 meter scale, or 100 meter scale, or 1 kilometer scale. Okay, it does not only have vertical pictures, of course. It is a lot of classical ones too, and he wants to show the beauty of Earth. So this is French Guiana in Amazonia. Yeah, another one which is very funny and is interested in lines and colors, of course, as everyone. It's fishing nets in Korea. This is Laguna in Venice. Again, Venice, which is so beautiful, of course. France. Coral reef in, again, Australia, with, again, a hint of the scale. This one is one of my favorites. It's Iceland. And what is very important is that all this work is started in 1992 with UNESCO. Indeed, UNESCO at that time had the idea of doing a portrayal of World Heritage sites, and he asked Yann to take part of this. So it's a very funny comeback to the origin here today. With all those pictures, and this is 20 years work, Yann has been watching Earth changing. Of course, you can see the beautiful animals and landscapes, but you can also see problems. And this is Canada. It's the tar sands of Canada, so dark and heavy oil, and this is indeed a lot of pollution. And what he wanted to do with this picture is to show the beauty of pollution. And this is not something other environmentalists like to do, but once again, for him, it is very important always to try to see the picture of the world in every part of it. But with those kind of pictures, and with this change in his mind, he became much and more involved in sustainable development. Then he founded an NGO called Good Planet, and for which I am working. And this NGO is focused on raising awareness, as I told you. He also began to use his pictures to raise awareness, because at the start it was only just pictures. And yeah, I will show you this one. Once again, to show you how you can see beauty even if in the dire situation. I don't know if you can see, but this picture is indeed a parking lot in Thailand with a big flood. All the region of Bangkok was under the water, and in this region there is a lot of industrial activity, and there is a big Toyota factory, and all the new cars were just below the water. This picture is amazing. Yeah. This picture also is very strong. It is Indonesia. It is palm oil plantation. So basically, it is cutting down a big natural forest and planting again palm trees to get palm oil. And you know that this oil is used in, of course, biocarburant, but also most of cosmetics and aliment and food. Excuse me. Another example of what is the beauty of the industrial world. This is a coal mine in South Africa. The more Yann was discovering the change of Earth, the more he became involved in protecting the planet. And this picture is something very important, of course. It's the Aral Sea, which has quite completely disappeared at the beginning of this century. It's now coming back a little bit, but at that time it was the biggest disaster on the planet. And with this picture, and also with this other one, this one is Kilimanjaro, which is famous for its eternal ice. This picture has been used as a signal for climate change advocates. It was the symbolic picture of the glacier we were melting. And we should discuss this idea because of the point is that Kilimanjaro is not melting because of climate change. It's melting because of other reasons. But anyway, the point is, it's a saying in France, one picture is better than 1,000 words. And you understand when you see that it can just and change the minds of a lot of people. And he started to use these pictures to do so, and this work was recognized by the UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, and he was made UNEP Earth Champion, and then UNEP Goodwill Ambassador. So this is interesting to note that the United Nations, UNESCO first, then the United Nations Environmental Program, just catch the strengths of pictures, and that they make their first Goodwill Ambassador a photographer. They have understood that pictures are a major tool to raise awareness, and in our modern world, of course, talking to the people, talking to the press, it is talking to the decision makers. And communication is one very important part of the fight we have to lead to protect the planet. This is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And what is very interesting is that Earth from Above, the work, started in 1992, which is the time where the Earth Summit in Rio did happen. It was coincidental, not on purpose. But from this time to the last Rio Summit, Yann has been working with the United Nations and has given away for free his pictures to all the bodies of the United Nations to help them carry the message of whatever their message is. But to go to the second part of my talk, this culture, this picture is important because in 1992, it was kind of the start of the sustainable development idea. Of course, it has been defined before, but this was kind of a big public start. And as you certainly know, sustainable development, which is defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So sustainable development has three main components, three dimensions, three pillars, as the Green has said. And those pillars are ecology, environment, of course, economy. We need to be able to have a working system, and social, it has to benefit to the people too. And I think, but I'm not the only one, and many indeed do think now that there is a fourth pillar on sustainable development, and this pillar is culture. And I will try to explain a little bit why I do this. I do think this. Oh, yeah. I will first try to convince on the condition of the relation of culture and nature and sustainable development with this picture, with this, I think it's very beautiful anyway, but it's misleading because you could think you are in a very natural place in the world, some swamp, I don't know where, and indeed, this is not natural. There is a big dam, it's in Congo, Congo-Brazzaville. There's a big dam, and this is the lake beside the dam. And the trees are white because they are dying, because they are drowning with the water of the dam. Anyways, it's beautiful, but it's not natural. And landscapes, which is the main focus of Yann, are seldom natural. They are indeed quite always unnatural, and I will show you a little bit more of that. Well, I could not come here without showing this picture. Of course, you know what it is, and of course, you understand that it's absolutely not natural. This is France, Cognac. Again, it's not natural. It's beautiful. Today, it is what we think is natural. It is the image we have of the countryside. But it is the result of centuries of work by peasants, by people who have cut all the trees. And at that time, it was a good idea. Now we say to Brazilians or other people, it's not good. But we did that in our countries, and we transformed everything. So our landscape is our heritage, and I'm sure you know that. But sometimes even the people who are walking there do not feel like that. And if you are talking to them and telling that they are preserving something, they don't feel like that. I think they are working to earn how to feed their family. Okay, this is Bolivia, I guess. Yeah, rice. Of course, it's not natural. and terrace. I don't know if it's a word in English. It's the biggest resource-consuming transformation of the landscape. You need sometimes hundreds of years of work to make those terraces and to have people working there. There is a landscape transformation. It's agriculture, of course. It's the main factors, but there is not only the direct transformation. There's the indirect transformation, and this is the Dead Sea at the border between Israel, Jordania, and Cisjordania, and the Dead Sea is dying, and it was not his fate. It is because all the people around it are developing agriculture, and they are using all the water. So the water which is coming in the Dead Sea is not enough to compensate for evaporation, and then the levels goes down every year, and it should disappear in maybe 50 years if nothing happens. Where did I? Well, this picture, I should have put it in the beginning. This picture is in Kenya again. It's funny because when we were in Rio in last year, Christian de Margerie, who was the CEO of Total, our biggest oil corporation, came and watched the exhibition, and he liked these pictures very much, and I think he even bought it. And this is very interesting because he's the biggest polluter in France, but he can be touched by the beauty of the world. And that is the essence of Yann's work. That is, okay, we can disagree on some points, but the beauty of the world, it can move the earth of everyone, and we can just find some agreement on this, and thereafter we can talk. We at the Good Planet Foundation, we are not experts in water engineering as you are, or in water heritage, or in any kind of things. But we open the doors for you, the experts, to come and to explain things to others. So I was on landscape. Landscape can be just, dramatically changed by humans. So this is South Africa, Saudia, excuse me. Okay, agriculture, you know it. Agriculture. Yeah, this one is very funny. It's a gulf. It's a gulf in Saint-Dominique, Dominican Republic. So they are just changing everything. It's nothing to natural here, and it shows you that landscape is not anymore natural. Of course, agriculture is not the only imprinting of the human species on Earth. Cities, buildings are all over the planet. Here you see one of my favorite pictures, Le Mont Saint-Michel in France. It's the tip with the archangel here. Here you've got New York, of course. And New York or Saint-Michel or many cities are, of course, threatened by climate change. If the sea level rises from 1 meter, as now the IPCC thinks it's possible in 2100, it will pose huge trouble to all those cities which are around the world near the sea. New York, of course. And last year, you know that there was the biggest tempest in New York, and they had to evacuate Manhattan for the first time ever. And it's not a good sign. It means that even the biggest and richest society in the world is not fully prepared to climatic events. Once again, I showed you Bangkok, but Shanghai, London, and of course the Netherlands. There's a huge part of the society which happens on the coast near the sea, and it is at risk, of course. But cities are not only those beautiful places we can imagine of. This is Lagos in Nigeria. So this is the biggest slum of the city. It's on the water, and there you can have some buildings. All the city is between 10 and 15 million inhabitants. No one knows exactly. There are discussions of the numbers. This is important because sustainable development does not anymore deal only with nature. Indeed, well, 1 century or 2 centuries ago, environmental issues were nature protection. And you have this beautiful book, Walden, from David Henry Thoreau. I don't know if I pronounce the name as it should be. Walden, its subtitle is Life in the Wood. But nowadays, environment is not anymore life in the wood. Environment is in the cities. And it is where everything happens, and it is where everything has to be done. I will explain this in further details. This is Rio de Janeiro, the beach, as you can see. As you certainly know, from 2007, half the population is now living in cities. In many countries in the West, it is more than 70 or 80%. Those people, those inhabitants of cities, they are consuming products, materials, they are emitting CO2. They are indeed those who are polluting the planet. And I do have my part of this, of course. And to give you an idea, New York or Tokyo, the city, they have a gross national production of more than $1,000 billion a year. That means more than most of the countries on the planet. And of course, they emit more CO2 and so on, because CO2 is related strongly to GNB. So another point is it's cities. And of course, cities are places of culture. Yeah, cities, even in Mali here. Cities, with everything they produce as cultural images and way of living, are the place where we should try to change the minds of the people. And this is a cultural issue. It is not telling people to go in the wood once a time. It's not to tell the people that to be kind with the animals. It is to change the way they are living, and to change it not in some hard way which is too much difficult or which would cost them too much, but in a way that which would make them feel better. And this is culture. This is what we have to discuss with the people now. And of course, this big concentration of people, it makes a big concentration of waste. And this is only one example, it's in Greece. So culture and sustainable development, they are related. And landscape are not natural. Nature is not anymore the focus of sustainability. I think that when I start with the definition of sustainable development, I think that it should help us to consider cultural issues as an important part of sustainable development, as a fourth pillar, as I said. And I should like to tell you a story, which is very funny in French. I'm sorry it will not work with you, but I will, I will try anyway. It is a piece of theater from Molière, a French theater writer in 16 and 70. And the name is Le Bourgeois Gentilhomme. And the story is in English, it's a would-be noble. It's a bourgeois who wants to be a noble. And Molière mocks him in many, many different ways, because this guy cannot be happy with what he has, and is consumed with ambition. And this ambition destroys his life. But at some point, there is a very, very funny moment, and every student in France, every schoolboy or schoolgirl in France has learned this text. He hires a philosophy teacher, and this guy teaches everything, just how to think, but also how to speak. And at some point, the bourgeois gentilhomme wants to learn how to speak prose, and the philosopher make laugh of him and says, "But you are speaking prose," and the bourgeois says, "Oh, I am speaking prose for 40 years without knowing it. I am so glad that you teach me this, because I feel much better now." And I think we ecologists, we are the bourgeois gentilhomme of culture, because we have been talking about culture for years without knowing it. Or sometimes we knew it, sometimes we said it, but it hasn't been organized fully with conceptual things. And I think it should be maybe done, not by me, but maybe by others. This is Versailles, where when Molière was waiting, it was happening here, of course. And I should say that there is some guy in France, which is Jean Musitelli, is the former ambassador of France to UNESCO. And this is, again, a way to connect all those UN bodies. He was UN ambassador to UNESCO, and he has been involved a lot in pushing forward this idea of culture as a fourth pillar of sustainable development. And he even created an NGO called Diversum, and he is an advocate, is advocating what he calls a purple society. For him, purple is the color of culture. I don't know why, but anyway. And he said, as there is a green economy, there is a green culture, there is a green society, there should be a purple economy and a purple footprint of what we do. And I think it's a very, very interesting idea. One last important slide on culture. This slide is very, very important because it's a picture of Aleppo in Syria. It is 10 years ago. But when you see this picture, you understand why the Spring Revolution happened. Those people are connected with the world as much as we are. They have full TV access, and they are dreaming with the same dreams that we are, because they are watching the same TV programs. And culture, because this is culture, is immense, powerful force that goes everywhere in our society, and we should not underestimate it. And of course, in Syria, they do not. This is, very, very strong pictures. Okay, I will try to conclude. As I told you, this morning there was the IPCC fifth assessment. So climate change, it is something you certainly have heard of. So, okay, glaciers are melting, Arctic is melting, floods are happening. This is in Bangladesh. This is a very famous picture of Yann. Okay, in it here again, urban cities are threatened, and we are facing kind of a challenge that is, which direction do we want the society to go? And of course, this is not an easy choice we are facing now, but at least we have now better tools than maybe 20 years ago to make decisions. Yes, Arctic is melting. Okay. But we have solutions. Maybe not enough to save the world, but at least we can do something. Of course, wind energy, wind farms. This is in Denmark. No, this is maybe not a solution, but it's nuclear power in France. Solar panels in Spain. This is colza in France. This is biofuels. All those different energy, except nuclear, have been growing very, very quickly. From 1992 to today, I've got numbers, solar energy has been multiplied by 300. Solar energy by 3,000, and agrocarbon by 3,000 too. This is huge. Of course, it's easy to grow quickly when you start from nothing. But anyway, it's a strong change in our society. And those changes come from one thing, that is creativity, science, technology, ingenuity. And when we are talking about renewable energy, we think about, solar and wind. But there is one immensely abundant energy and resource that is creativity. And I think we should think to this creativity and as the most important renewable resource that we human species have with us. And we should do that, and some do that already. And this is the Science University in Malta in the Emirates. And of course, new countries, they know that research is important for the future. And they are doing something. It's Dubai. It's amazing, this story. And this resource, this infinite resource, the creativity, it should not be only on technology or in science. It should be also on social issues, on political issues, on cultural or artistic issues. We have to invent a new world. It's not enough to do better solar panels. We have to have new ideas, and we have to think again on everything. And this is a cultural transformation. It's a cultural revolution, which you, as scientists, as experts, as thinkers, you have to, and you are doing already, of course, take part in. There is another renewable resource which we should use and care for, and this is something Yann is very keen to say every time. It is love. It's not, it's not a mellow yellow thing. It is the way to open your mind to the other. It is empathy. It is very important that we think to the society as a group and not to ourselves. And ideas, you can share them. It's not making you more poor. Indeed, you can share it and it grows. And love is the same kind of energy. You can share it and it grows and it grows. The more you love your wife or husband, maybe the more you love your children. It's not, you do not subtract, you always add things. And this is very important because, well, if we don't love one the other, if we do not care for the other, we are facing big trouble. This is, how to say in English, place where you put garbage in Senegal. And there is the last one. Yeah. And this is why we use this picture all the time, because indeed it just embodies what we feel. It is the beauty of the world, it is nature, but also culture, and it is love, and love is this energy we want to share. And two last sentences. For us, this idea makes that sustainable development is not only caring about the planet, it's caring about the human species. And sustainable development, therefore, is a new kind of humanism. And to illustrate this, I would like to use the word of Martin Luther King, who said, and I cannot find better words to close this talk, we must learn to live together as brothers, or we'll perish together as fools. Thank you.